Because like I've started to talk to other artists and people come up and they're always, like, that's a standard question. It's like, how do you write your songs? Who write your songs? And it's definitely like a team effort in the songwriting. I'll come up with a riff, or Josh will come up with like a chord progression, and then we all just go in and like jam it, and it'll take months of like, oh, this would be cool, and no, I don't like that as much, take that out. And unlike a lot of other songwriters, I think, because I struggle with writing lyrics as far as just, it takes a long time for me to get them out and like onto paper and to learn them and write something that fits. So that always comes last, which I think is different from a lot of other people. But
watching Beyond the Band, and once again we're at Pale Horse Sound, and today we're joined by Harbor Patrol. So you guys are a rock band from Springville, I hear.
Yep.
And I had the opportunity to see you guys perform live a few nights ago. You guys did pretty stellar.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So you guys have a fairly recent EP out right now.
Yeah, we
Save
do.
Me.
Yep. It was in the works for a long time. We started tracking it late last fall, early winter. And then it went through like a lot of revision and whatever. I ended up flying out to Colorado to stay with our producer a few times to like change things and fix it and whatever, and just make sure it all was like exactly how we wanted it. But yeah, we're really happy with how it turned out.
What was the most challenging thing when you guys were creating that EP?
Honestly, I'm pretty sure I'm speaking for all of us. The most challenging thing was probably being patient enough to like wait for him to do his end of the work so that we could hear it and like, see if it's what we wanted and kind of get back to him. But yeah, the waiting game was hard.
Yeah, especially that first time. We went a few months without hearing anything.
Yeah.
And like we didn't even have like the raw tracks to practice with because we changed a lot of parts.
Yep.
Like as we were recording, and so just having, we played it maybe 2 or 3 times to record it, and then haven't heard it since. And then we had shows that we wanted to play, but we wanted to do it to the new songs, like the new way, and we just didn't know how to. So we hadn't played it in so long.
Yep. But anyways, yeah, like finally getting them back was super satisfying to like hear it and whatever. And then like, I was the only one that went out to Colorado, but that was like a really good time to go out and actually like take everybody's input from home and like go and put that into the songs and just make them like everything we wanted them to be.
Yeah.
It was cool.
And for me, like, most of the songs are already finished when I joined because I'm pretty new to the band.
Yep.
And so I spent hours just learning all the songs that were already wrote. So that was probably the hardest thing for me, to like learn all of them before we had a show like coming up. So.
Yeah, we played a show like 2-3 weeks after.
Yeah, we pulled him in and we were like, okay, so we think you've got the talent. We think you've got like the commitment level we're looking for. We've got a show in 2 weeks, so like go home and listen to it and like let's see what you can do. And it's been great ever since.
Yeah.
Was that hard for you, Asher?
Oh yeah, well, that's all I listened to for like 2 weeks, is just the same EP over and over again, trying to get it good. But it was a way fun experience, and it was worth like all the work to play a show. It was really fun.
Let's talk about some of the songs off your guys' EP. Let's start with Save Me, since that seems to be one of the most popular.
That's the title track, which is kind of funny just because the majority of the songs are all sharing a similar theme. I had just gone through a rough breakup, so obviously that's kind of where the theme, was with most of the songs. But going through something hard, whether it's a breakup or, whatever in life, like, it's not always just going to be like bitter feelings towards that person or whatever. Sometimes you just go through your own personal like challenges on the side of that. And so Save Me was for to kind of cover more of just the general feeling of like, heartbreak and loneliness and like trying to move through a hard time. And because of that, we wanted to kind of make that the title track of the EP, just to, blanket the theme of the whole thing. And plus, like, songwriting wise, we were really, really proud of that one. The chorus is just huge, and every person we showed the demo to while we were working on the EP just loved it. So it was kind of a unanimous vote to just make that one like the main track of the EP.
That one went through like the least amount of studio work too.
Yeah,
I feel
for
like.
sure.
We didn't change many of the parts at all, or like there's small revisions here and there, but like that one was pretty much like all on us for like how it came out at the very end.
I was gonna say, I really like that song because it's very catchy, like you mentioned. The
Yeah.
chorus is so just like, you
Yep.
get it down. First time hearing it and
Yep.
you got it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's always really fun live when we play that one, just because whether it's like a familiar face standing in the crowd or someone I've never seen, like by the end of it, they're normally singing along just because it's catchy, you know, and easy to pick up. So that one's fun.
And I love the guitars on that song, how it
Yep.
starts with the guitar and then slowly thereafter, bam, here comes the instrumentals,
Yeah.
the rest. So very well done.
Thank you.
Is that one of your most typical songs you play since it's a fan favorite?
Yeah, we've
or-
played that one at every show since the EP dropped. So, yep,
Yeah, that's like definitely one of the title tracks of our shows
yep.
for sure.
What's another song that you guys like to play live?
We have a song called "A Song from Madeline," which is probably our most like progressive song. It's pretty different from the rest, but it's a really cool song. I think it just showcases like our ability to write something different as a band. And we had a guest vocalist on that one, the bassist from a band called Shatterproof out of Fort Collins, Colorado, who's a good friend of ours. Did some like screaming on that song, so that one's heavier, but it's a really, really cool song. And live, like we just go ham on that one live. It's really fun. That one's definitely a crowd favorite too, just because we're all up there like losing our mind. It's a good time.
That's when I can't feel my neck anymore. Like, that's the one song that kills me every time, especially the ending.
Yep.
The ending is just so like heavy, like super fun. Like
Yep.
And I remember learning that one. There's like a time change at the end, and it sounds really cool, but it was like probably the hardest part to learn. Like we spent a long time on it,
yeah,
Yep.
that's for sure.
but it's really fun. Like now that I know it, it's really cool.
Yep.
So you said with this EP, it's based on a relationship. Is
Yeah.
Madeline the name of the girl, or is that
No,
just a
it was-
pseudonym?
Yeah, it's a pseudonym.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna be that like savage.
Not that
and-
harsh, huh?
No.
Definitely not. That one's funny because our old bass player, the one who recently left us,
Came up with the name actually,
Yeah.
and originally that name was for a different song. There's a song on the EP called "So Far Away," and originally "A Song from Madeline" was the name for that song. And then when we were like revising all the tracks and whatever, and trying to name all the songs and whatever, that was fitting for the song. By the end of all the like work and everything that had gone into it, it just fit.
Was it weird to switch names? Because to me, I think if I've already associated a name with a song, and then be like, actually, let's
Yeah.
name this song that.
Yeah.
Like to me, that'd be weird.
For sure. It was like 2 months of practice, and every time I'd be like, okay, let's play Madeline. We start playing the other song, and it'd be like, no, the other one. So yeah, it was an adjustment, but it definitely fits that song like perfectly.
Definitely. It took us a while to like finally name all of them though. Like
Yeah.
it took us a good while because we're like, how would we do it? We would just kind of go in and be like, okay, you'd play like the first riff of it. We're gonna play this one next, and it's like,
Yeah.
we should probably think of a name for these. But
Yeah,
we're
because there was like new song 1,
Yeah.
new song 2, that other song 2. So
And we had like a whiteboard
yeah.
practice room with just like all like different names. And it was, like,
Yep.
I can just imagine your guys' practice. No, the other song. This is the other song. No, the
Yeah.
other song.
Hey.
that is
Exactly.
exactly what it was. It was funny.
See, that's so odd to me that you guys came up with the titles after. Like,
I don't know. Yeah, we have like an odd writing practice, I think, as like I've started to talk to other artists and people come up and they're always, you know, like that's a standard question. It's like, how do you write your songs? Who write your songs? And it's definitely like a team effort in the songwriting. I'll come up with a riff, or Josh will come up with like a chord progression, and then we all just go in and like jam it, and it'll take months of like, oh, this would be cool, and no, I don't like that as much, take that out. And unlike a lot of other songwriters, I think, because I struggle with writing lyrics as far as just, it takes a long time for me to get them out and like onto paper and to learn them and write something that fits. So that always comes last, which I think is different from a lot of other people, but that was part of why the title was so hard, is because we'd have all the instrumental stuff written out, and then it was like, okay, now we got to write lyrics. And so I'd spend a month writing lyrics, and then after that was done, it was like, okay, here's a name. But yep,
Name comes last, huh?
yeah, that's kind of the like cherry on top.
Let's talk about one of my personal favorite songs from your EP, Like a Rose.
That one is definitely, that's like my baby, I think.
Yeah,
Emotionally, that one is like, not that like lyrically it's so much different, but just the writing of that one and whatever, and actually like a lot more in the instrumentals of that one. I don't know, that one just hits home for me, and like I love performing it. I get like super emotional when we perform it just because I'm going like all out. And I put a lot of work into that one, just in the revisions and stuff, especially when it was just me and my producer, like one-on-one, up all night just by his laptop, you know, with Pro Tools open, and just like there would be like one little guitar tone that I didn't like, or like I was like, we need chimes there. Like I just spent a lot of time making sure that one was just perfect because like I liked it so much. And in the end, I think that definitely is one of the songs that could have the most like marketability from our, you know, like from our list of stuff. Just I think a lot of people like that one. It's a little bit softer. It's a little bit more like alternative, like indie vibe. So that was really cool.
So aside from what you said, I know you said you spent a lot of time in studio working on it and whatnot, but it seems like you have an emotional connection with that song.
For sure, and like I was saying, you know, I don't know why that one stands out so much aside from the other ones, other than just like, for me, you know, like I know a lot of people say like music saved me or whatever, but like I have to actually be really careful when I'm listening to music, especially like when I'm going through a hard time, just because I'll get so sucked into the music or like so passionate about it that like it can really like put me in a different place mentally. And so sometimes that's really good and sometimes that's really bad. But that one, like instrumentally and just the vibe of this song just really connected with how I was feeling after that breakup and just that time in my life. And so I think that one, that's why that one like sits so close to my heart.
And I just want to point out one of your lyrics in that. You say, like a rose covered in thorns, you are hard to hold. And I think such a good line, but so simple at the same time. But, you know, you get this image and it just instantly, you understand what's happening there.
Yeah. That's another, I mean, the symbolism in that song was really cool. Like when I wrote that chorus, I was super like happy with it. It was just like, I was sitting in this coffee shop for hours and we were trying to get a chorus written, like me and my producer, and it was finally like, I think I got something. I wrote it down. I was like, okay, read it. And he was like, dude, that's it. And so, yeah, like right from that moment, it stuck. But I'm glad you liked it.
Love it. Love it. And then one more song I want to touch on before we wrap this up is Bite Your Tongue, because I like that one too. I think it's most of your songs, as I'm going to say throughout this interview, they're very catchy, but Bite Your Tongue's another one that I just...
Yeah. That one we were really going for like a little bit, especially in like the verses, like a little bit of like a Foo Fighters vibe with like, I was exploring like some new techniques and just like vocal styles in that song, which I think ended up coming out really well. And like just the like really like raw, like punchy attitude in that song, I think was just very like rock and roll. And it was like, that one's a fun one to play live. It's really upbeat. And
we normally open up, normally like open up with that song, like this beginning of our set, because it's just like upbeat and it's like a really fun song to play.
So.
That song I think went through probably the most work because literally that song was totally different. That like that first like part, it was originally really pop punk, like super like chuggy and stuff, and then our producer came in, he's like, I don't think so. And like
which was really good.
Yeah,
it ended up just taking a turn for the better, because originally I don't even know if we would have held on to that song. Like there was some parts that we were like, yeah, that's cool, but the rest was kind of just garbage. We played it like one time live before. This was all before the recording process, but yeah, I mean now it's definitely like one of my favorites as well.
I was going to say, one thing you've mentioned a lot is how taking it to a producer and getting your stuff worked on there actually helped elevate your guys' music and
for
sound.
sure. We've worked with the same producer since day one. He's a guy out of Colorado, and he's actually a pop artist, which I think really gives us like a unique third ear, you know, like outside of the band, to bring in like a new perspective and, you know, give us some new ideas of like, what if you try this or that? And it's definitely been like one of the best things we've done working with him, just as far as like really maturing our sound and helping us like break out from just being, you know, like just another rock band.
Well, good job on your EP release.
Thank you.
It's phenomenal.
Thank you so much.
I dig it. And if you guys haven't heard it, it's on iTunes. Where else can they find it?
It's everywhere. iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, Google Play, Bandcamp, you
Yeah.
name it, and you'll find it.
Everything.
World Wide Web, best place to go.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway,
Exactly.
thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And special thanks to Pell Horse Sound for having us in studio. We'll catch you next time.